maybe around a 32.
Okay. So getting to Omaha could be kind of like getting to around.
I would say getting to Omaha is it's equivalent maybe to a Sweet 16 in basketball, maybe shotgun fire, maybe around a 32.
Wow. All right. Good morning. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Do we know anything on the Jelly Roll thing?
I know you got one set for sure.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 tickets for sure. All right. I'll figure that out here in just a minute. Just wanted to check on Jelly Roll. It sounds like a dance to me.
Well,
did you Jelly Roll last night at the club or wherever you were? Or
sounds like a food.
Well,
I thought it was a donut.
Oh, fair enough. Well, it is, isn't it?
I think, isn't it? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get Jelly Roll donuts.
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
All right.
Ooh, I like that.
I bet Morris can make one downstairs at Beagle Bagel in Madison.
In his sleep.
I just talked to him this morning.
That dude is
he's a great American.
He is.
He is.
He really is.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I need to give you the text line so that you can remember it. Dancing Rabbit Golf text line 601-885-3776. 885-3776. I want to know if you're listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show, where you're listening from, and what you're thinking about right now, other than how amazing this show is in your life. That's the text line, powered by Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Now, your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by our friends at Total Transportation of Mississippi. Let me ask you something. When was the last time your job actually gave you freedom? Total Transportation of Mississippi is offering nationwide and regional routes for solo and team drivers, which means you can literally choose your lifestyle, travel the country, stack weekly paychecks, and still get frequent home time at Total Transportation of Mississippi. Let them be your travel agent and pay you to do it. TotalMS.com. You can apply on the front page of their website, TotalMS.com. The Out of Bounds Show is powered by Total MS, TotalMS.com. Apply right now to an awesome company that's out of Mississippi but nationwide. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows with you. We are rolling, and it's been a good week, and we've got more to do and more to talk about with more baseball, good football topics for sure. Lane is never ending. Now we've thrown Coach O into the fire. And so we got the Beatles down in Baton Rouge. Anything and everything they do is the talk of the town in college football on social media, which is exactly what they want. Remember when you read the book Meat Market 20 years ago, or whatever it was, 15, 17, 18, 19 years ago, when so when you read the book The Meat Market and they shadowed Eddie O in Oxford, that was back when he was snorting coffee grinds. Talk about it in the book. And, just an absolute, and his big deal was you have to create a buzz. You have to create a buzz. And he and Lane and Hugh Freeze and those guys, Eddie O and Lane got it from Pete Carroll. Hugh Freeze got it from Eddie O because Hugh was on his staff before becoming head coach later. But if you read the book Meat Market, which is on Eddie O and recruiting and the craziness, which kind of can't believe that they wrote about it because it was some stuff on the fringe there, especially that was back when the NCAA was still had some power. They've been, neutered, as you know, since in the last 15 years or so. But you've got Eddie O breaking down how he evaluates, how he recruits, and you've got him snorting coffee grinds and so on. How many Red Bulls has that guy pounded in the last 15 to 17 years? I mean, Mike Detillier referenced him, drinking sugar-free Red Bull that Formula One should like have Eddie O like wave the flag and do a race, since Red Bull is such a, I don't know what they pay Formula One, but it's got to be unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, it's a big ticket. It's a big ticket because that's what they dominate, right? The
No doubt.
adventure sports. I'm looking. There's a different word for it, but
We'll take that.
yeah.
We'll take that. Yeah. I mean, did you go on a big Red Bull kick? That was kind of your age. They kind of hit you.
Well, I mean,
That was kind of right when you were turning around 21.
it was before that.
Okay.
But I mean, Red Bull and Jaeger was. I mean, yeah, of course.
Were people comboing that or just separate?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh,
that's the move.
Oh, wow.
It's the move.
Good Lord have mercy. Okay. We've got a 228 area code
We go on the coast.
on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line. Bubba's always wear worn out Crocs, typically leaning on peaky toe sides with a flat lip. And he shows this guy weed eating or edging his shrubs while wearing a sleeveless shirt and Crocs. A true Bubba move. Okay. And then War Eagle Rich says, I'm listening on the app from the gym in Pearl. I am thinking, why the hell am I at the gym?
There we go.
War Damn Eagle. Love it. This is Mac. He's still streaming from Inlet Beach and thinking about the brisket he's cooking for dinner. I like that. Man. Oh, I'd love some really good, high quality brisket on somebody, from somebody's smoker
Yeah.
grill. That'd be delicious. Wouldn't it?
It ain't that far. Inlet Beach can't be that far away.
It's not. It's right by Rosemary.
Hop and a skip.
Hop and a skip, baby. Hop and a skip. Oh, man. All right. Let me lay out what all we're doing today. We've got Brad Henderson, Ole Miss baseball analyst, played at Ole Miss. Fantastic player. Brad will stop by at 8:30, and we'll jump into the who, what, where, when, and how around Ole Miss baseball. And, yeah. And then Bartu is going to get a little funky and crazy, and we're going to preview Auburn and maybe something else in the third hour.
Yeah.
And the reason why the first few teams that we're going to preview for football, and this has become really fun that we do in the summer, and it gets crushed on podcasts, and it'll get even more on YouTube now that Jackson has totally revamped the YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. Auburn plays Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And so does, what did I say yesterday? Texas and somebody else in the league. So we want to kind of match that up. And Florida.
Yeah.
And there may be one more, but I know Auburn, Florida, Texas. Both teams play. Okay. Ole Miss will have a shot or be favored in all three games. Mississippi State better have a shot in two of the three. But we'll just see how it looks and how it rolls. Y'all remember the Florida game last year? Mississippi State could have kicked that field goal, and they threw the pick. And that's probably the best player on their team. Was field goal kicker.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that, Brennan Thompson, maybe Isaac, but you could go here and there. But Fluff, when he was healthy, no question, was a good player. But yeah, I mean, I think you could make a strong argument that the field goal kicker was the best player on the team. Anyway, they both play Florida.
Yep.
They both play Auburn, and they both play Texas. And we're going to talk Auburn Tigers and Alex Golish. War Eagle Rich may not want to listen because Bartu's not real impressed with Alex Golish. But we're going to talk about it and go through it. So we'll start our it's not too early because SEC Media Days will be here before we know it.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you're going to blink and high school football will be reporting. I mean, I know they're already practicing, basically, and they should be. But you know what I mean, like the official we're doing this. Let's see. Nick is on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line. I'm thinking about what the profit margin of this donut shop is that I just watched 20 cars go through in 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
Well, what was it that we heard from the Dunkin' Donuts guys? 42% of their business is coffee, and the margins are incredible. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it crazy? Isn't it awesome how people make money? Like you think, oh, this, but then they're like, no. We want to sell 40 to 50% coffee at the 800 Dunkin' Donuts because the margins are 220%. I'm just making that up,
Right.
but whatever.
It's the convenience store model.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Come get some gas.
Right.
While
Our
you're
profit
here.
margins are slim there, but grab 2 bags of chips, a 6-pack, and go get some chicken strips from the little deli. Absolutely. Yeah.
That markup is huge.
Yeah. All right. I need to give a shout out to Beagle Bagel in Madison because that's where our studio is. And it's National Chicken Salad Day.
Oh, all right.
You do the chicken salad panini?
Man, I've got, but it's, I think I've turned the corner as of recent. I get it on the croissant.
Oh, you do the chicken salad on the croissant.
Croissant. It's good.
Okay. All right.
It's the move.
You have an inch. I don't know if Jermaine Benoit would approve of. You just tried to do a French Cajun,
Yeah, croissant.
and I don't think you hit it. But I love that you're doing it because it's way, way, way off.
Oh, it's horrible.
But it's good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's either that or I'm calling them all croissant, which is.
I like that. I like that.
That's what it should be. It's a croissant sandwich.
Okay. It's also National Egg Day.
Right.
I love eggs.
Eggs rule.
I love sunny side up. I love scrambled. I love poached. I love boiled. I love omelets. Whatever. Let's go. I love that egg salad sandwich I had at the Masters a couple of months ago or whenever that was. And I don't just like tear through to get an egg salad sandwich, but man, I love eggs. And it does remind me of brunch, when you're hopping around New Orleans or, here. I mean, we've got some wonderful brunch spots, Nashville, Charleston, kind of when you're on the move. Well, game day, a lot of times you'll hit a brunch if you're either in your town. Commodore Bob's has a mic drop brunch that people line up out the damn door on Sundays. I mean, you got to get there at like 10 a.m. to get in. But brunch reminds me of a Tito's vodka Bloody Mary and an omelet. Eggs. You like eggs?
Love them.
Okay.
I mean, they're versatile.
There is a lot of versatility. Yeah, they're kind of what would you say? Wes Welker of food?
Oh,
nah,
man.
that wasn't good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of versatility here.
Ooh.
Usually that's like basketball players that can play 4 different positions because we've got such freaks in the game. I mean, LeBron could play all 5 positions. I had to think that through.
Yeah.
Obviously, Magic had a tremendous amount of versatility. Larry Bird could play multiple positions, and he could play 2, 3, or 4.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got guys, versatility in baseball too, right?
Yeah. And then you got Taysom
Like
Hill.
Jake Mangum.
Mangum's versatile.
I mean, he's efficient. He gets on base. He makes insane plays in the field. He runs the bases like a madman. There's a lot of versatility there. Okay.
Yeah, nothing like Taysom Hill, but it's close.
Yeah, I mean, Taysom no doubt has
Swiss Army
versatility. Yeah.
No doubt.
I think a lot of that was overplayed a little bit, but Sean went all in and loved it. And he hung on. He hung on through another coach. Did he officially retire?
He did. He had to have made some good money.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he made millions and millions of dollars. He's good.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I
think his last contract was pretty solid considering he was
not a quarterback.
Well, obviously, but he didn't play but like 20% of the snaps, except on different occasions of people getting hurt,
Sure.
matchups, and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was him and Dak, right? In that BYU game, long time back.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Did Dak play BYU?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was Dak or Fitz. I'll have to look. But yeah, they played Taysom in I want to say it was an OT game when they went out to BYU.
Oh, they lost. Yeah. That was
Like 16?
that was Fitz's first year to start in 2016.
16?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I remember that. It was kind of a
Weird
cluster.
game.
Yeah.
He-
Okay.
Fitz almost.
Yeah, Taysom may have been it. I don't remember. You know, those guys are 26 years old at BYU. And that's why Bartus, when he first came on 15 years ago, I didn't understand what he was like, you don't schedule BYU. And I went, why? He went, because they have 26-year-olds playing 19-year-olds. I went, that makes sense. He went, it's just, you just don't want to get into that deal because you don't know what.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know how many. They have to go on the Mormon mission for 4
Right.
years. All right. So a lot of times they'll play a year or two, then they'll go on a Mormon mission, and then they come back.
Grown.
And that 26-year-olds against 19-year-olds, that's just, physically and so on. I will never forget him saying that. And I thought, what is he talking about?
That's smart.
But in fact, he's got this right here, which is really funny. Here it is. This is funny that I can pull this up.
Look, BYU is hard to profile because they got so many 29-year-olds that are married with kids on that team.
But it makes sense.
Wow, I'm glad you're able to pull that like that. That's tight. But yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, right?
You look, it's hard to profile any of the teams now with the portal.
Period.
But back then, he threw the gauntlet down in like 2011. He was like, do not schedule BYU. I thought it made sense. I didn't get it at first.
Yeah.
Look, BYU is hard to profile because they got so many 29-year-olds that are married with kids on that team.
I mean, let's be honest. That's funny. It's
It's true.
And it's funny.
Just want to let you know right quick that Sean Payton, he allowed, whenever Taysom got drafted, he got drafted or picked up he went undrafted, but signed the deal.
Oh, he was in UDFA?
with
How about those acronyms?
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
With Green Bay.
Hardcore sports.
Green Bay Packers, 3 preseason games, scored 2 tutties, rushed for another, released on September 2nd. September 3rd, he was picked up by Sean Payton.
Of course he was.
Right then, right there.
Of course he was. What is this? Okay. So Sean picked him up.
That day.
He's going to end up coaching for Sean.
Oh, man, yeah. That would. And he could
I'm
probably
telling
be
you,
good
he's
at it.
going to end up
I
being
love that.
an offensive assistant for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I mean,
Special
Sean
teams.
loves him some Taysom Hill.
Loves Taysom.
You know, coaches do that. They'll find a guy over the
yes.
course, a couple of them over the course of their career
Yes.
that are good, but not their greatest player to
Right,
cut.
like-
But they just love.
Like he likes Breeze. He loves Breeze.
Absolutely.
But he loves Taysom Hill.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah, it's just an obsess. That's just.
yeah.
Swoochy Boochie, good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you, Bartu.
Swoochy Boochie, good morning to you.
And good morning to all our fabulous listeners. We love you. We do. It's
He got a $40 million extension. Taysom?
not read that again. Make sure that's the case at 35, 36, 37 years old. That would be insane.
Talking about 21. This,
The The
last
last
one. You mentioned the last one earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so he's good. AI.
I knew he had signed a bit for him,
Oh, that's-
considering he's a one down, player,
Oh, man.
specialty, right? He's a specialty player.
No doubt.
But yeah,
Better gig, Taysom Hill or MLB pitcher?
they're both great.
I mean,
They're both great. You don't get the, what kicked out of you.
that's a good point.
Taysom's
taking hits.
not that baseball's not a physical game. It very much is. Look at what happened last weekend.
Sure.
There's a lot of physicality and so on.
No doubt.
But, you get smoked in the NFL. You and I have
Smoked.
talked about that.
It's smoked.
When you're on the sideline before a game at an NFL game, that's when you go, my goodness, how do these guys live through the 3-hour game?
Where do they come from?
But, look, I know Maddox and Glavin and all them worked hard. They also played a lot of golf.
Yeah.
I mean, when you pitch and then you got 5 days, and it's a reason why, and they're all Hall of Famers,
Yep.
but there's a reason why Maddox, Glavin, and Smoltz are all scratch golfers too. You know,
No doubt.
and they'll be able to walk
That's
and
right.
move around for a long time.
Oh, Taysom took some hits.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Your next breakfast biscuit is powered by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. We're powered by Total Transportation of Mississippi. Apply online right now. TotalMS.com. TotalMS.com.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Al Warner.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Lowbound. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Wolves, Mountain Lions, and Bears.
Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by the softshell crab and rack of lamb at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. Get it medium rare, KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Bowbound Straight Funk with you as we march into super regionals and all that kind of crazy stuff. This is 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Check out our YouTube channel, the YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. Out of Bounds Sports. And the YouTube channel is on fire. Love for y'all to hit it and hit subscribe. We're trying to hit a number. Help us get there. YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. Show is also brought to you by... All right. Do you have an engagement party coming up? Well, you know where you need to go. The Rogue Men's Store. Pants. Super cool pants. Button-downs. Jack Victor sport coats. All at the Rogue Men's Store. They have Peter Millar, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss gear. The Rogue Men's Store. Newly renovated. The building is right beside Highland Village. The Rogue Men's Store. Iconic building. 3 stories. Right there, I-55 North Frontage Road, the Rogue Men's Store. If you've got an engagement party, a summer party, or you just, if you're still dressing like it's 1997, we need to get you in the Rogue Men's Store. Follow them they do a great job on Instagram and Facebook, Rogue Men's Store. Follow them on social media. I don't know if it's Luke or Mary or whoever, but they're posting all kinds of fun stuff. In fact, I guess they had Luke's dog in there yesterday, which was great. And they put a bunch of cool-looking clothes around him. So engagement parties equals the Rogue Men's Store. Peter Millar, the Rogue Men's Store. And you need to just slightly upgrade that closet. You do. You do. The Rogue Men's Store. All right, a couple different ways that you can get in touch with us. The Dancing Rabbit Golf text line is 601-885-3776. Hunter Elliott, Townsend, Utermark, Federico, all these guys. Dom Decker was one of the stars on Sunday for Ole Miss. Big week. And then Mississippi State, Ace Reese, Reed Stallman, Tomas, and Ryan McPherson pitched for you on Sunday, and I thought he pitched well. And it's going to take, Bryce Chance did his ovation, Madison Ridgeland Academy product. That was fun for the crowd, and a tip of the cap to him and so on. And so that was good to see too. Bryce Chance had a hell of a career at Mississippi State. And Will Furness, he's been at Ole Miss forever. His dad played at LSU, and Will locked down that first base position a while back.
Long time ago.
And I feel like he's been there for like 6 years. But anyway, it's going to be a fun week, and Ole Miss plays Friday night. That's the Elijah Craig and State game. Not State, Steak.
Right.
And like ribeyes. Boom. Fillets. Boom. New York strip. Boom.
Good. You're back.
All right, find us on X at Bowbounds, and the Michelob Ultra caller line is 601-707-3750. Didn't we have a caller earlier? Were they calling on Myles Garrett or A.J. Brown?
They were calling to tell us about a documentary that's coming out
Which one?
on Jackson State, 1962. Quarterback Roy Curry.
I saw that.
Really?
I got an email on it.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, they just wanted to check in. They wanted us to get some info on it, and so we got some info.
I'll have to go check my other. I don't have that email on this stuff in front of me.
Sure.
But yeah, I did see that email briefly yesterday.
Cool.
God, I hate email. And by the way, I did 30 minutes on the regional to start the show. And then we needed to get into some football too. We need to not just be 100% college baseball. I know I'm fired up. We're all looking forward to the super regionals. What a great accomplishment from Bianco and O'Connor and the players. But, we also want to make sure that we're doing football, and we have to do football, for somebody like NFL Chuck, because he's the biggest Cleveland Browns fan in the state of Mississippi, and his team is now traded away the best defensive player in the league to the Los Angeles Rams, who, by the way, were already good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams were already good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not fair?
No.
Do you have, let me know if you get the times. I can't read what Dole sent me because it's too small on the screen, and I don't know where the hell my glasses are. So we are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Show me the money!
Bianco and O'Connor with bonuses, but they have been released. All right, what do we got?
All righty. Let's roll with the Morgantown.
No. I want Mississippi State on this.
State.
Always play the hits.
Athens Super Regional Game 1, Saturday, June 6th, 11 a.m. I'm assuming these are going to be Eastern times.
You're exactly right.
Okay, 11 a.m. Eastern's 10 a.m. our time.
Wow.
That's an early ball game.
Mississippi State plays at 10 a.m.?
I don't like that.
Okay. When does Ole Miss play?
Ole Miss, Friday.
Okay.
8 p.m., so 7 Central.
So they got the Elijah Craig steak game. And then Mississippi State has the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary and Nachos game.
Correct.
Interesting. Thank you. All right, we'll hit that on the other side. We got the times for the Super Regionals. We'll go over them next because we are hardcore college baseball.
Why is there air?
First question I asked myself.
Why is there air?
First question I asked myself this morning when I got on the shake plate.
Why is there air?
Anybody have an answer? I'm still on the journey. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone.
If a wise man had a dove in his pocket and a rock in his hand, where's the bullfrog?
That's what I was thinking about on the way to work this morning. Anybody know? Bueller? Let me know on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, 601-885-3776.
Why is there air?
I know you've asked yourself that question, Jackson. When you're thinking all your deep thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I consider myself a
philosopher?
That, an intellectual.
No question. Hydrocarbon chemist.
Award-winning at that. Yeah, of course.
You knocked down 5 trophies in 1 year.
Yeah, that's what
which is true.
It is. It somehow is true.
I mean, you only went against like 1 or 2 other people.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Did not matter.
This is what you said when you won.
Anyone else?
That's what you said.
Anyone else?
I almost went Kirk Cousins.
Oh, and what does that mean?
You know when he was pointing at the woman on the way. You like that? You remember his iconic? It was Monday Night Football. He's running off after they just beat the Eagles. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
He's hollering at the reporter.
I don't
like that?
Usually, yeah. I don't stay up for the end of Monday Night Football, but I get that.
We had
that was funny
for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Well, you need to add all the ones I've asked about the last 60 days.
Yeah,
It's really despicable.
Yeah, it's despicable you haven't added them.
It's really despicable.
Right?
A guy named Sliced Bread.
If we hire Sliced Bread, we're taking this show to another level. All right, let's go back into the Super Regionals, please. And I want to talk. All right, Ole Miss and Auburn. So Friday, 7 o'clock, Central, Ole Miss at Auburn. And then Saturday, 4 o'clock Central. And then we have it to be determined, depending on how that series goes. So that's Ole Miss at Auburn. Friday, 7 o'clock. So it's Friday night. That's cool.
Right.
Saturday, 4 o'clock. Right when you're getting the grill going to smoke the ribs and the brisket and all that stuff. Mississippi State at Georgia is Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
For what?
And it'll be 11 a.m. their time in Athens, but 10 a.m. our time. And then Sunday at 11 a.m. All right, so both Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary games with crispy bacon, and then you've got a Monday to be determined if the series is split, as y'all all know. And so that's what Ole Miss will start on Friday at 7 o'clock. Mississippi State starts on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Bam.
Man.
Are you ready? Let me ask you this. Can you get up? Can you get up at 10 a.m.
On a Saturday?
And watch the Dogs versus the Dogs in a super regional with only 16 teams left? And the winner of all these goes to the CWS.
It's going to throw my sleep schedule off.
Okay.
But I told you the other day, there's one thing that I like, that I really do like in sports.
Yeah.
Which I do like multiple things in sports, but there's one thing I really like.
Okay.
It's postseason baseball.
All right.
Don't care what level it is. Postseason baseball is always, it's my favorite. I love it.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I'll get up by the third, fourth inning.
That works.
I can't give you the first. That's
okay.
10's early.
All right. You can order like some crappy McDonald's.
It's true.
At like 10:45 or 11. And then you can watch it on your couch.
Yeah, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to use your card, go to Taste, and boom.
Okay.
Simple.
That's a good spot.
God, it was.
We were there yesterday.
Drilled.
We were there yesterday, and we saw our friend Lee Pace and Trey Pace.
Yeah. They related?
The two brothers.
They are brothers.
Yes, they're related. They're brothers.
When it's really good food and it's at that early, it's so much better.
No, the food's fantastic. It's when you're eating.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
At 21 years old, yeah.
That was yesterday.
You're in your mid-30s. What are you doing eating at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Age is arbitrary.
Did you wake up?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talking about after I ate it?
No.
No, I was up.
Oh, you're already up.
Working.
You were not working.
No. I was doing nothing of such.
Oh, gosh. What do we do? Listeners, what do I do with him? What do we do with him?
I don't think you understand how much better it was at 2 a.m.
No, I think it's great at 7 o'clock at night.
Okay, yeah, true.
Or like when you and I were there at noon yesterday, or 1, or 2, or 3, or 4, or a little Tito's espresso martini with some lasagna at Taste Italian Kitchen.
Makes sense.
I almost got a martini at lunch and pulled a power play Mad Men move.
Nice.
But then I forgot. We started talking to I guess it was Lee and Trey.
Yeah.
And we started talking to them. My whole deal was it was National Olives Day.
Right.
And I was going to have a Tito's martini. I can't remember the last time I had a martini at lunch. If ever. But not that I'm opposed to it. But,
definitely
I'm sure we have, through all the this and that. And hey, we're in sports and entertainment, R&D. It's research and development. That's what we did yesterday.
That's right.
I had the world famous meatball. You had the lasagna.
Facts.
What did we get, Mackenzie?
Spaghetti and a meatball.
Okay. I hope she enjoyed it.
Devoured it. I mean, but like at the same time, man, like she could have waited till 2 a.m. and just smashed it.
No.
Oh, that's so good. Because man, especially when you there's nothing else really to eat in the house. Boom.
Brad on the Pearl River Resort text line. Kamish is a unicorn.
I'll take that.
Okay.
It's a compliment. I'll take that.
All right.
I feel like a unicorn.
Let's go back to the time of the games in the regionals. Okay. Ole Miss will play Friday night at 7 o'clock. That's a good spot. Get together. Steaks from Flora Butcher, Elijah Craig Bourbon. That's a good time. Mississippi State plays on Saturday, game 1 at 10 a.m. Brunch, lunch. You can even fire up the grill.
Yeah.
Mid-morning, early morning. Put something on when you get up at 6 or 7 a.m. Midway through the game, or even way before, it's good to go. Maybe want to start with some deer sausage and a Tito's Bloody Mary, and then you put the deer sausage in the Bloody Mary.
Honestly, Wendy should probably just be like the designated chef out there, because if she would just make breakfast casserole for everybody, I don't think there's any. I mean,
breakfast casserole is incredible.
It's
Now
so
that she makes it
good.
with grits,
I love it.
it was already good, but it's even better. She made it. The kids came home a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what was going on.
Add a little bit of jelly.
And I had a bite. I had a plate. It was phenomenal.
I drilled that.
I love a breakfast casserole.
She kills it. It is really freaking good.
She put some Mississippi State jalapeno cheese in there. She made it with grits. But now I'm in love again. I mean, I've been eating it my whole life, but Mississippi State, eat them.
Yes.
Man, one of the crew in the boxes this weekend had that all diced up in a cheese and grape tray. Damn nations. We're live in the Bank Plus studio.
That is right in the giblets, baby.
Hey, Out of Bounds, ESPN 1059 The Zone. Our next interview is brought to you by Finch and Kelly. Great clothing store in Oxford, right across from South Depot Taco. Our buddy Patrick Kelly's done a great job. He's got all the Ole Miss gear, red, blue, navy, you name it, he's got it. He's also got the Whiskey 61 leather goods and barware. Stop by there. Orientation and everything else that's going on this summer. Finch and Kelly on the square in Oxford. We welcome in our friend Brad Henderson, great player at Ole Miss, now Ole Miss baseball color analyst. And the Ole Miss Rebels are playing the Auburn Tigers in Auburn in the Super Regional. They went to Lincoln, Nebraska, and won that regional in 3 games, by the way. 2 of them in extra innings, which let's start with that. Brad Henderson, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, Bo. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for jumping on, dude. Brad joins us on 1059 The Zone, ESPN. Brad, how about those 2 extra inning games in Lincoln, Nebraska, where Ole Miss found a way to win and to stay in the winner's bracket and also avoided an if necessary game too?
Yeah, it was good to see it kind of all come together. You know, it was a really good, both the extra inning games obviously were against Arizona State, who, being a 3 seed, man, they were an awfully good 3 seed and could really swing the bats, but the guys kind of held it together, got the big hits late when we needed it, and that bullpen was really, really good this weekend.
Hooks on Friday. I can't remember. I'm sure you know the final pitch count. It was like 60-something pitch. I mean, he was unbelievable when Mike brought him in, and then he really sealed the deal because he was able to chew up a bunch of innings and keep Arizona State off the scoreboard. Talk about his performance, Brad.
Yeah, he's been tremendous for us all season long, and you know, I think when you get to the postseason in these must-win type games, you got to have some special players do some special things. So I mean, you got some extension out of him, career high in pitches. And then you do the same thing, you know, behind him with Calhoun. And, you know, to make a run, those guys have got to be really good, and obviously they were. And it was a 14-inning marathon, but, yeah, they really held an elite offense in check. And then obviously we get the big hit to win it there in the 14th.
And Hunter didn't have his best stuff, but he grinded through and chewed up some innings too. Is that what you saw, Brad?
Yeah, he did, and the same with Cade Townsend in the finale. You know, not at their best, but good enough to kind of hold serve, and you know, obviously again, the offense gave you enough to pull it out. But yeah, you would have liked to have seen Hunter been a little bit sharper, but the pitch count got up early, you know, and he really had to grind it out, which he did. And we've seen him do it really over his whole career, but hopefully maybe he can be a little bit better this weekend.
Yeah, he's a great player. Brad Henderson, Ole Miss baseball color analyst on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 1059 The Zone, brought to you by Finch and Kelly in Oxford. All right, so you go through on the road in the regional, and like you said, you did what you needed to do to win and punch your ticket. To me, the Ole Miss staff, it looks pretty damn good, both starters and bullpen. I think they need to get another bat heated up. Am I going down the right road here, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more consistency. You know, I think Pano had 1 or 2 hits on the weekend. Foley had 1 or 2 hits on the weekend. It just happened to be they were huge hits when they got them. And that's when you get to the postseason, that's ultimately the important thing is the timely hitting piece of it. But, yeah, you would like to see Judd maybe have a little bit better super than he did regional. But, again, you know, big home run in game 1 to kind of get the offense going. I thought the timely hitting was terrific. But, yeah, you're right. You would like to string a few more together. But, you know, as well as I do in the postseason, everybody's got at least one dude, and most of the times, and we'll see it this weekend at Auburn, it's an elite pitching staff. So, pitching, defense, timely hitting, that's what it's ultimately going to take.
I know you were on the road, but how impressed were you that Auburn lost and then was able to win 4 in a row, Brad?
Yeah, it's hard to do. You saw Ole Miss struggle last year with Murray State when they lost that first game, and we were able to come all the way back through the winner's bracket and ultimately just ran out of gas. And it just shows you how deep Auburn truly is, that they were able to come back through their regional and ultimately win it in Game 5. And that's awfully hard to do, but as well as I do, Butch Thompson's one of the best in the country, and he had those guys ready to go there for those last 2.
Yeah, they gutted it out, and so it was impressive what Ole Miss and Auburn did over the weekend. Different path, but it doesn't matter how you get there. They'll play Friday night down in Auburn, and I think it's an 8 o'clock first pitch, 7 o'clock here, somewhere in there. When do y'all leave to go down there, Brad?
Yeah, the team's actually going to leave today. They're going to workout practice here in Oxford and head out this afternoon. I'm going to end up going tomorrow because I've got a real job as well. And, I missed a couple days last week, and so I'm going to let them go on down today, and I'm going to work today and tomorrow and head down tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Hey, tell me about Dom Decker, who was with Murray State last year. Ole Miss gets him out of the portal, and what an at bat, but he's also a damn good baseball player. Walk me through who and what he is.
Yeah, he's just a grinder. He's a dirtbag, and I thought when I interviewed him after the game, after he walked that final game off with that sac fly, he told me, he said, I'd struck out 3 times, but I felt really good at the plate in that last at bat. I believe I'm a good baseball player, and I just kind of took that to the plate with him, and that kind of encapsulates, what he's about. He's just dirty every game. He just grinds out pitch by pitch. He takes pitches, finds a way to get on, and he's been that for us all year. Of course, we saw that from him last year. We actually played them 4 times, once in the regular season and then 3 there in the postseason. So they felt pretty good that they knew what they were getting in Dom Decker, and he's been exactly what they had hoped for.
Are you? I don't think you are, but are you surprised at all that this team made the Super Regionals?
No, I'm really not. I think the 30 game league kind of prepares you for the postseason. There's always the chance that you don't play at your best when you need to play at your best, and but that didn't happen. We played really good baseball. We were sound. We made 1 error in the 31 innings.
Wow.
So the guys just kind of came together. This team is resilient. And to be honest with you, I feel like we played better on the road. There's just something about this team that they kind of take on the us versus the world mentality when they go on the road, and you could see that this weekend. And, you hope that translates to this upcoming weekend. So we'll see. It should be an awfully good regional. 2 really good teams getting after it.
No, it is. It's two damn good teams. Ole Miss at Auburn. They start their series on Friday. It could go to Sunday. It may be over Saturday if Ole Miss takes 2 or Auburn takes 2. Mike Bianco. I've said this. Mike is still going to be the head coach long after you and I are gone. It's just unbelievable. So many, this, being a former, you were a great player at Ole Miss. That's a program place that you love. Now you get to call the games for your alma mater. So many players that have been through the program. Mike's been there for 26 years or something. But there have been so many times where people counted him out, and yet he lives in the postseason, and the majority of the time he advances in the postseason, Brad.
Yeah, he's just, it's always been a culture thing, and when guys get here, they know what to expect. They know what the expectations are. And he's just been steady is probably the right word. I think out of the 26 years he's made the postseason 22. The consistency's always been there. And I actually told David Kellum before this regional started, I said, the beauty of it was because we started game 1 30 minutes late due to a weather delay. And I said, man, we've got a coach he's been through all that. Willie Bloomquist at ASU, I think he's in year 4 or 5. Obviously, Will Volt at Nebraska hadn't been there long either. Both those guys are my age. And so they haven't been through kind of the trials and tribulations of what the postseason can bring. And, the curveballs like the weather delays and the extra innings. And Coach B's been there, done that. So I felt like we were in a pretty good position as far as strategy goes on how to handle different situations. And I think you saw that play out.
Yeah. Brad Henderson, Ole Miss baseball color analyst on the Out of Bounds show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. All right, so we've hit a couple of these guys, Brad, but everybody knows the stars on the team. But who's the player that Ole Miss fans aren't talking about enough right now? Who's the guy that could swing this super regional down in Auburn?
Oh, man. Well, I would say the emergence lately of Hayden Federico, which obviously is a household name at this point, and Owen Pano. And Owen, he didn't even start at shortstop halfway through the season. And highly talented kid that came in last year, and the lights were too bright. I think Owen would tell you that, and I think that was pretty obvious in the opportunities he had. But the light has kind of come on. The switch has flipped now, and what he's given you defensively at shortstop is kind of a staple now defensively, and he's getting you big hit after big hit, and you're starting to see him come into what they knew potentially he could be. And I think getting him to play at the level he's playing at both offensively and defensively has really kind of taken this team to another level. And then in the bullpen, what J.P. Robertson's done so far in the postseason, because you didn't really know after Hooks and Calhoun who could get you off the field and make big-time pitches, and obviously we saw J.P. do that this weekend.
Yeah. I really like your bullpen. Like Mississippi State, you don't know what you're going to get. Some of these other teams. I like their front-loaded batting lineup better, but, I mean, that bullpen's one of the best in college baseball, right?
It is at the moment. They threw 17 innings this weekend and gave up 4 runs, and they just happened to be on 2 two-run homers. And, when you can go 17 innings and only give up 4 runs, you're getting a lot of outs and a lot of crucial moments, So they showed up, and you gotta have that in the postseason. Everybody's got good starters at this point, but you got to have some reliable guys on the back end to either keep it close or preserve that lead. And, so far those guys have been able to do that.
What time did y'all get home Monday morning?
We actually spent the night Sunday, and we flew out around 10 o'clock. So we got back to Tupelo around 11:30, 11:45. So the guys were able to get a good night's rest, get back, and hopefully get their feet back under them.
Okay. Who feels more pressure this weekend? Ole Miss coming off the magical run through their regional or in Lincoln, or Auburn hosting with Omaha expectations in front of their home crowd?
I would say Auburn, and not because I think the teams are equal, but I think you saw the pressure of playing at home this weekend. I think you saw 7 host sites lost. Only 9 were able to win it. And to me, that's an astounding number, that 7 did not get out of their regional. And, again, we saw it last year. I think there's a little bit of added pressure. If you don't perform, you can kind of hear some of the groaning or the moaning or the anxiousness of, now when things are good, that home crowd's going to get behind you, going to get loud. But there is that added pressure that Auburn will have, of 6, 7, 8, 9, however many thousand people they're going to have there to perform in front of them. And sometimes you try and do a little bit too much, and when you do that, bad things can happen. So I think just simply from the added pressure of playing in front of your fans, it can be a problem sometimes. So we'll see how they handle that. But it's going to be awfully tough there. They've got a really good team, super balanced. So we'll see. I'm excited to get down there.
Yeah, you're fired up. You should be. All right. Well, look, I know you got to get some work done before you head down to the Plains. Going to be a hell of a weekend. Enjoy it. We appreciate you jumping on, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Yep, sounds good, Bo. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad Henderson. Fantastic player at Ole Miss baseball color analyst. He mentioned Hooks and Calhoun and J.P. Robertson. Ole Miss had some guys out of the bullpen. 17 innings, only gave up 4 runs. He likes to see Federico get heated up and hot. And Dom Decker with the clutch at bat on the sac fly walk-off. And Ole Miss wins 2 games in extra innings, the first and the third, against, as he said, a scrappy Arizona State team who wouldn't go away. I mean, that was just nip and tuck. 14 innings on Friday night and extra innings on Saturday, and Ole Miss prevails, and they advance to the Auburn Super Regional. So you got Mike Bianco against Butch Thompson. They're more than familiar with each other. Butch was at Mississippi State for years under Cohen as the pitching coach, has been at Auburn for a decade. Time flies. I feel like Butch was just in Starkville wearing M over S. He's done a good job down at Auburn. Couple of College World Series appearances. You remember Mississippi State and Auburn played out in the CWS several years ago. So here we go with the Auburn Tigers and War Damn Eagle taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. And Mike Bianco with another Super Regional. Of course, Mike's been there the whole time for the Super Regional format. That started in 1999. Mike ends up at Ole Miss a couple years later, and then bam. So Ole Miss at Auburn Friday night. Boom. We'll go with that. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next GMC Sierra truck. GMC Yukon. Fowler, Fowler, Fowler GMC, FowlerGMC.com. They're right there in Pearl, Brandon. Check out their selection, FOWLER, FowlerGMC.com. Bowbound Straight Funk with you, hanging out. Well, I think Bar 2 is going to join us either at 9 or 9:15. And that would be Diamond Dave, Mr. Matrix Analytical. He called me twice in the last couple weeks, telling me, he's got all these clients, college, NFL. He doesn't even say, hey, he just starts talking. I mean, something about numbers and metrics, and it's crazy. So we'll get Bar 2 on in the third hour, and I think it'll be good.
That is right in the giblets, baby.
That's right.
That is right in the giblets, baby.
Oh, man. Chuck Mullins switching gears. Cleveland Browns super fan, Jackson, Mississippi attorney, said that he agrees with trading Myles Garrett. I think he's going to join us on that may be a hot take for some of you. Now, he keeps up with it. Look, it's a big name, and whenever there's a big name, it's automatically, oh, goodness. But he said, I approved trading him last year and especially this year. Great defensive player, equaled 10 wins in the last 2 years. I did think we were going to get 3 first-rounders, but you can't argue with the draft haul they got, plus a Pro Bowl upcoming defensive end. He's no Garrett, but nobody is. And then he says it's all about the quarterback. And so I said, who's your starter? And he said, exactly. And I messed with him. I said, Akili Smith. And I thought that was funny. He probably didn't. And then he said Tim Couch. So although Tim Couch would have been good with like a grown-up front office. Like today, if you want, that was 28 years ago when he came out of Kentucky. But Tim Couch, if you gave him like the LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks, John Snyder, of course the Chiefs with Beach and Reed, that type deal, Howie Roseman, and so on. Sirianni, couldn't pull his name yesterday, with the Eagles. the Packers do a good job. There's other teams, but what Sean and Denver are doing, run well, run right. If you gave Tim Couch good people around him, like so a lot of these quarterbacks walk into, and a lot of them don't. There's no telling, but he walked into an absolute disaster in the late 90s and just got beat to hell and back. So
when was the last time they weren't known as a complete disaster? It's been my whole life.
Right. I talked about that window in the mid to late 80s.
80s.
They were super competitive.
Dog pound. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Kozar and that whole deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that was Schottenheimer. Before Schottenheimer moved to the Chiefs and then ended up with the Chargers, and somehow they fired him going 14-2. And I'm sure Phillip Rivers was like, "What in the hell is going on?"
Right.
I think that was Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yep. Him and LaDainian.
Yeah. Yeah. Phillip Rivers.
Young Phillip.
Okay. I got that right. Yeah.
Young.
Because Breeze was right before that?
Same age, I believe. They're within a year or two of each other.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Breeze was a 3rd-round pick out of Purdue? Right. I think so. He played for Tiller, who was doing some really cool things back then that most people were not doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I mean, they shouldn't have won, obviously, Purdue. Good Lord. That's a disaster, football.
Oh.
But they can play some Matt Painter and Purdue and hoops. Let's freaking go. They can't win it.
Oh.
But they're good. You feel like they're always a 1 seed or a 2 seed, or a lot of times.
Chargers drafted Drew Brees with the 2nd quarterback taken in the 01 draft, number 1 being the number 1 pick, Mike Vick. But they took him in the first round, or the first pick of the 2nd round, number 32.
Okay. So that was the year Vick came out of Virginia Tech and was the first-round pick for the Falcons?
Right. San Diego originally had that first pick, ended up trading it to Atlanta, which then Atlanta took Vick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Okay. They traded it to Atlanta, who drafted Vick in return for the 5th pick of the first round. So they traded down a few spots, which they ended up grabbing LaDainian.
LaDainian Tomlinson out of TCU. Okay.
Dang.
All right.
One draft loaded?
Wow. Okay.
That's
I loved him as a player.
Oh, it's awesome.
Absolutely loved LaDainian Tomlinson.
Golly.
He's one of my favorites.
Easily. See, he also...
I was still a Chargers. Maybe I still am. Now with Harbaugh and Herbert, I kind of like them. But as you know, I've grew up with Dan Fouts and Coryell, so I love the Chargers. And they got great look. The lightning bolt is just cool. I got to get a pullover.
And when you were playing Madden back in the day...
I hate that they're now in L.A. I mean, I don't hate it.
Yeah, San Diego.
But...
Always going.
But they're San Diego. It's Tony Gwynn and Coryell and Dan Fouts for me.
Forever.
I don't know why. I got into that. Tony Gwynn, Steve Garvey, Gary Templeton, Eric Coryell, Dan Fouts, Winslow, Chuck Muncie, and was it Jefferson too? Yeah, that was fun days for San Diego. Now they're the LA Rams. Am I okay with that? I have to think about that during the break. I mean, yeah, that's right. Sorry, LA Chargers. My bad. Damn it. Studio.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
It's Sound Warning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Lowbound. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
That is right in the giblets, baby.
Good morning. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, powered by Pearl River Resort and the Golden Moon Casino Vegas-style sportsbook. Championship Golf, Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, the Azaleas in the Oaks.
Wow, what am I drinking? Swoochy Boochie, good morning to you.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We have Diamond Dave Bartoo, Matrix Analytical clients in the NFL, college football. And Diamond Dave is on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN.
Hot take.
Mississippi State and Ole Miss play Auburn and Texas and Florida, maybe one other team, Jackson. And so we really want to hit on those teams because of the crossover. We do that every year, but the fact that both of them take on the Auburn Tigers, and they've been playing Auburn forever and didn't play them last year, which is, I don't know when the last time that happened. But playing them this year, here we go. Ole Miss will play Auburn, and Mississippi State will play Auburn. Diamond Dave, good morning, sunshine. What's happening?
Tinkerbell, how's it going, sweetheart?
Well, I'm good. Yeah, I am, man. Summer's going well. And are you having a good summer?
Oh yeah. Well, at this point right now, though, we're in Matrix Manor. Everybody's a teacher over here on this side of the my universe. So we're counting down the days for school to get out. So we're not quite there.
Okay.
Not quite there, but pretty close.
So, okay,
pretty close.
ours are, so here they've been out for a couple of weeks, and so y'all are on a little bit later schedule, so you got a week or two or something?
Yeah, there's a couple more weeks. Now, I will say right now, sitting on my deck, it is 53 with less than 10% humidity and no bugs, and the high today is going to be 72.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's been hot as hell here, and then we had a storm come through and took it down to about 84 and cut the humidity. So we've got a little bit of goodness going for us. And but good Lord, it kicked in last week, but the storm kind of took it away for a second. All right, let's talk Auburn football. State and Ole Miss both play them. Alex Gold. All right. So they decide to move. Let's walk through this, and then I'm going to kind of get your thoughts. We'll ease into it and go over it. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze was there for 3 years, and they were really close, and they just couldn't turn the corner. DJ Durkin did a hell of a job on D. Last thing I thought would happen is Hugh not getting the offense tuned up. They recruited well, blah, blah, blah. So they hire Alex Golesh from South Florida, and they retain DJ Durkin. But this is a program between Brian Harsin and Freeze. They haven't won in a while. Bartoo?
Yeah, no, they haven't won much at all. And I agree with you. I mean, last year they lost 5 games by a drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was pretty tight, and I think it was only year 3 of Freeze. And I agree. Durkin's defense was extremely good. That was kind of a difficult thing for the SEC last year. When you had good defense, you had no offense. And when you had the offense, you had no defense. Oklahoma had no offense. Auburn had no offense. LSU had no offense. And those are basically your 3 best defenses outside of Georgia. So with Auburn, yeah. And they retained Durkin. I think that's the biggest piece of the puzzle, right? Is because they bring in Golsh, and then they retain DJ Durkin. Now, you and I both know DJ is former head coach. And you and I both know that all former head coaches are always working to do one thing, become a head coach again.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's, you want to talk about like outside the edge, the intangibles off the field, I think the soap opera that could happen at Auburn has excellent potential. Because we see this blow up all the time across college football, right? By the end of September, just relationships aren't working out, and things happen in college football. And most often we see this with veteran coaches in this kind of situation. So I'm curious to see, very, very curious to see how well DJ is able to bounce back this year with his defense, and how the long-term dynamics of DJ and Alex work out at Auburn, because I've been around you enough to know that in the SEC, at least what you and just about every fan I've ever talked to said, if there's going to be drama in a soap opera, it's going to be at Auburn.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
Here's the way I frame it up, because as you know, Bartu, it's a border state. And we've been over to Tuscaloosa and Auburn many a times, and blah blah, and have kids go over there, and so my daughter almost went to Auburn, and so here's what the reason why the reason why they're Lions and Tigers and Crazy Pills is because of Bama's winning since Bear Bryant got there in 1958, and I know they've had some ups and downs, but Bryant, Stallings, and Saban all won national championships, blah, blah, blah. And that has driven them. Now, it's also driven them to be super good at times and competitive and spend a fortune and all that. But that's what's driven them crazy, is Bama in a small state winning big, Bartu. That's my theory.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that program has a lean towards drama, then I think the dominoes are stacked up quite interestingly for further drama down on the plains in 2026, which I know that you and every other non-Auburn fan wouldn't mind seeing.
Well, look, Ole Miss and Mississippi State host Auburn. All right, so Auburn has to go. Ole Miss has a better team. We all know that, than all three, but out of the three. But Ole Miss will host Auburn, and Mississippi State will host Auburn. What are give me a minute and a half before we take a break, 2 minutes, on your thoughts on Alex Golesh as a head coach at South Florida.
So anyways, I spent the better part of a couple of months utilizing 3 different AI networks profiling Alex Golesh and trying to find what made him tick. And what's interesting, he was at South Florida for 36 games. And yes, Pete, yes, Jeff, I will give you the secret. Just give me a call. His drive sequencing, when he has a specific drive, if he's able to execute a specific drive sequencing, he is 18-0. When the defense stops it, he is 0-15.
Wow.
That's how predictable this guy is. He has a certain drive sequence that if he's able to pull it off, he is 18-0 at South Florida. If it's stopped, if he can't do it, he is 0-15. So like I said, yeah. So now when you look at that, think about that, 18-15, right? So that's 33 of 36 games. So he's just over 500 when he is able to pull off what I see as his preferred drive sequencing in football. Okay, it's only 54%. So just looking at that, and without looking at the schedule, now I can go, okay, this is a 500 coach at Auburn, right? That's kind of my starting point. I'm not saying that's where this schedule is going to end, because the schedule actually looks pretty favorable from an Auburn point of view. But then what I started doing is late last night, I stayed up and I started looking at the defensive coordinators of all of the teams on their schedule to see who's best at stopping that sequencing. And we're going to get into this schedule and see. I'm just going to I'm going to use that sequencing to profile what an Auburn record might look like this year.
Okay.
So I think he's highly predictable.
I love this. All right, Dave Bartu, Matrix Analytical. We're previewing the Auburn Tigers. They are ready to win. Okay, I mean, good grief. Chiswick went undefeated. Tuberville went undefeated in the 2000s. They played for 2 national championships, won one. Tuberville should have had a shot in 2004, 3, whatever in the hell it was. All right, so Bartu's going to start walking us through. Again, Ole Miss and Mississippi State will host Auburn. They haven't won since Malzahn left, which Bartu jumped on the show when they let him go and said, dumb mistake. More profiling Auburn and talking dogs and Rebs with Dave Bartu on the Out of Bounds Show.
weakest +1 ever. Wolves, Mountain Lions, and Bears.
Out of Bounds, live in the Bank Plus studio. ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Superior Foundation. Foundation repairs, French drains, driveways, parking lots. They're the leader, the best in the business. Their work comes with a warranty. Superior.ms, Superior Foundation. Call them today. Locally owned, Superior.ms. The number one foundation company in Mississippi, Superior Foundation. Dave Bartoo, Matrix Analytical, on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Okay, one more. I want to go over the goalish thing one more time. The 18-0 and 0-15, and then let's continue to talk Auburn and SEC.
Yeah, so real quick, Golsh at South Florida regular season, he had 36 games, and then I threw out the FCS games, obviously, and so it boiled down to 33 games, and so I took every play-by-play that he had at South Florida, and ran it through sequencing on 3 different AI models for nearly 2 months. And it finally boiled him down to a specific drive sequencing, like game planning. And when he was able to execute it, he was 18-0. When the defense stopped it, he was 0-15. Which is pretty astounding. It's pretty astounding. But I'm finding other numbers like that. I did it with Kirby and I did it with Lane. And I'm doing it for actually the entire SEC, one team at a time, because turns out that these defensive coordinators and head coaches will pay for knowledge and details. Go figure, Bo. So I already got one SEC team on board that's paying for the sequencing, so I'm just going to keep going team by team. But what we can do is we can break down Alex and Auburn. I expect him to try to roll that sequencing out because it's what has made him successful. So I'm looking at defensive coordinators. So the first game, week 1, Baylor, okay? I've already looked at that defensive alignment and how they try to break his sequencing. They're successful about 47% of the time. So you got Alex successful at 54, Baylor at 47. I slightly lean Auburn to win that football game, but I think it's going to be a whole lot closer maybe than a lot of people think.
Dave Aranda, who is a defensive specialist, is still at Baylor. He's been able to hang on by a thread. He was fantastic as a DC. Baylor, tough place to win. I think that's what Bartoo's referencing. They'll play on a neutral field somewhat, not really, but in Atlanta, hour and a half away from Auburn, and that's what Bartoo is referencing there. So, all right. So, how did that compare? You mentioned Gollish and running his numbers, and when he was able to run his drive sequence, he was 18-0 at South Florida. When he wasn't, he was 0-15. You mentioned you ran the numbers on Lane. What did you come up with, Bartoo?
Well, Lane, I was able to do his numbers at FAU and Ole Miss. Lane is interesting. Lane is 61-1 when he's able to make his drive sequencing happen.
Wow.
Yeah, he is lights out. And I think that goes back to the offensive coordinator in him, right? How well can he execute his specific game plan? And when he can, 61-1 across FAU to Ole Miss. So, now that doesn't account for talent. Now he's going to LSU, which is more talented year over year. And so now can he execute that at a higher level? And I'm sure people listening would say, well, what about Golsh? His talent at Auburn is going to be significantly better than at South Florida. But how much better is it relative to the rest of the conference that he had? So, but Lane was pretty good at it. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out going forward, especially with LSU. But that's one of the big reasons why I say they're a national contender right out of the gate, is simply his ability to have the players and get that sequencing in place and almost more specifically as having that number 13 scoring efficiency defense and staff back. I think that's a big deal as well.
Yeah, I thought about you a couple of weeks ago. We dropped some of Lane's audio, and he was talking about, that's basically all we do. He is just a walking content generator for us. But he mentioned playing that first game and how it had bit Kelly and Ogeron at the end of his deal by them scheduling the way they have. And he mentioned, they didn't do that at Ole Miss, and they didn't start with tough games. I mean, I expect them to beat Clemson, but you don't ever know. But he sounded like you. And I thought, because he doesn't want to play that game, and I don't think they're going to play a game like that as soon as they can get out of however long they've scheduled. And I know y'all have had communication over the years, but I mean, Lane was he just ripped the Band-Aid off, Bartu. He was like, basically, you don't need to play a Power 4 tough opponent game one. You need to play like La Monroe.
Yeah. It was, and it's funny that he's at LSU. That was. Do you got time for the first side story I ever had for college football?
Yeah.
Okay. So it actually involved LSU, and I was on spring break, and I was at my mom and dad's house, and they lived on one side of the river, and the supermarket was on the other side of the river, so you had to walk across the bridge. And the only way you could get cell phone service was going across the bridge. So I got up, and I was like, oh, man, I'm already out of lines for gin and tonic. So I went over to the supermarket that morning, and I was coming back, and my phone rang because I was able to get service coming across the bridge. And I'm on the middle of this walking bridge over the Columbia River, and the phone rings, and I put the Nashville number. I was like, I pick it up, and it's James Franklin with the coaching staff and the AD talking about scheduling. Drops me right down. He's like, the guy asked me if I had time for a conference call. I'm like, sure. And I'm standing on the river, holding a bag of lime, probably some extra tonic, and bang. But what was happening is James had been listening to what I was saying about scheduling, and the AD wanted a home and home with LSU. And my thing was absolutely not. You got a new head coach here. You're trying to recover from sanctions. You got rid of Bill O'Brien. I said, that one loss, you are almost guaranteeing yourself at this point a loss, home and home loss with LSU at this point. So that loss may keep you at looking forward at your schedule. That may make an 8-4 team 9-3 if you schedule a cupcake. Right. Now you're in the top 25. And so I went through my whole thing, just like I was on your show, right? And hung up the phone. A week later, Syracuse booked that home and home with LSU.
Oh,
Penn State passed. And the year they were going to play LSU on the road, they went 9-3, and they were in the top 25.
Bam.
And boom, they were back on the map. And so that was, I'd like to think that was my big trust building with James at that time, to be able to take that call right there and be able to walk through it succinctly and then have it play out that way, because that's what the odds would say. You and I would agree that would have been the right move. And so, really long story short, that's what Lane is saying, right? It's like we don't need to generate big wins, because here's the thing. Look at all these big games in week 1, week 2, week 3. Most of them end up being duds.
Right.
You don't know how good Clemson's going to be, especially with Chad Morris. The last time he left, that offense was trash. Trash when he left Clemson. Right? Everybody's like, oh, man, Chad Morris was a stepping stone up for those national championship runs. BS. They took them a whole year to rebuild that thing. Cratered it. So, I agree with Lane. Something, it's fun to have those games, but it's not worthwhile, in my opinion, when you look at the entire way people view a team, especially with wins and losses.
Next segment's 24 minutes. Diamond Dave Bartu, Matrix Analytical, powered by Pearl River Resort. Championship Golf, Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and an amazing steakhouse, Philip M. Steakhouse. We are the Out of Bounds Show. Bartu joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. We'll talk more Auburn and SEC coming up next with Bartu.
What am I drinking?
Out of Bounds, ESPN 1059 The Zone, brought to you by Total Transportation of Mississippi, offering nationwide and regional routes for you. Apply online today. TotalMS.com. TotalMS.com. Weekly pay, monthly bonuses. TotalMS.com.
Look, BYU is hard to profile because they got so many 29-year-olds that are married with kids on that team.
We dropped that earlier in the show. We're live in the. We were talking Taysom Hill. That was it. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Diamond Dave Bartu, Matrix Analytical, joining us on 1059 The Zone. We're talking Alex Golesh and Auburn, but what's great is we can mix in everybody that they're playing and some of the other trends and, nuggets and tidbits that Bartu picks up as far as some of the teams finding an edge or not finding an edge. And it's crazy that people don't want to look to find an edge in sports, considering how many of these games go down to the wire. But Diamond Dave talking, and Auburn has not won. Gus Malzahn, Bartu said this. I hate giving him credit, but he said this for years. He was like, they don't appreciate it. And Malzahn was there during Saban's dynasty, and yet he beat him, 3 times? Went to a national championship game, all that kind of stuff. Was the OC when they won the national championship game and then drove them to a title game. Bartu, as you look at Alex Golesh and Auburn, and again, Ole Miss and Mississippi State will play at home. They'll both host Auburn and Alex Golesh. What would you? I think you already said it, but I want to go over it again. What would you say the ceiling will be for Alex Golesh at Auburn, according to the numbers that you've looked at?
Well, let's go through 2 of them real quick. This will be 30 seconds apiece, right? If we go from a talent standpoint alone, we got win, lose to Florida, beat Vanderbilt, so we're 3-1, loss. What do you say Ole Miss is? Probably loss. It's at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Right? So we got 3 W's. Home against Arkansas, 4 W's. Mississippi State, 5 W's. And then they must have, my numbers don't pull the FCS team. They must have do they still have a little a little punching bag there and there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So from a talent standpoint,
and then at Bama.
And then at Bama, which no. So we're looking about 6-6. Right? That's where we're at. Your coin flips that we always talk about. I think week 3 at home against Florida. I believe that's a home game, correct? That's a critical one. And certainly home against Arkansas. You got those are your 2. If you're going to get to 7-5, I think you got to win both of those. But that run of Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and then Arkansas is a super trap game because guess what? You're going, it's not a super trap game because that's not Ole Miss in that one. So, it is, I think 7-5 by the talent is the peak. And then you start looking at the drive generation and who's going to stop him. Baylor should be a win. Southern Miss should be a win. But see, Summerall's history in 4 seasons, he has a near 70% chance of stopping that drive sequence. That's the kind of defensive coordinator him and Brad White are. So, I think they're against the 8 ball on that one. Vanderbilt, there's a 3rd win. You got to have that. So I think they have to be 3-1 coming out of September. They have to. Anything less than that, and now you're looking at 3-4 wins. Heupel stopping rate on the sequencing, nearly 70%. Georgia, 82%. Lane and Blake Baker, 76%. I mean, that's just loss, right? Now you get to Pete Golding and Ole Miss. It's at Ole Miss. That hurts, but we don't know who Pete is, right? So I'll coin flip that one right now. But from a talent standpoint, pretty even. Coaching standpoint, again, we know what Pete Golding is as a DC. We don't know what, we don't know what he is as a head coach. And then Arkansas, you got Silverfield. He'll stop this sequencing, his defense at Memphis, this specific sequencing, about 50% of the time. So there's a coin flip. Jeff, he's got a new defensive coordinator, but previously his stop rate on sequencing was 18%.
Oh.
So what can Zach do to change those numbers? That's a really big question there, because I can't answer that unless I go back to Zach's sequencing with Mississippi State with Mike, which I haven't done, and then no on Alabama. So all the numbers to me point to a 6-7 win ceiling. Has the total come out? I bet you the total's like 6 or 5.5, if the total's out yet.
Jackson's got it, I think, at 4.5. But you mentioned 6-6, 7-5. We're visiting with Diamond Dave Bartoo, Matrix Analytical, with the extra conference game, non-conference games, and the Baylor game, and everybody else pulls a mandated Power 4 game. You wouldn't be surprised if he goes 5-7, though, right, Bartoo?
Oh no! If he gets off to a bad start, right? You got Baylor. Like I said, that's a coin flip. You can lose that. You can't lose the Southern Miss game. You cannot, right? I think you and I would agree. You can't be losing the Southern Miss game. Florida, no surprise. Vanderbilt, I think we're getting the first 2 years of Vanderbilt now that Pavia is gone.
Yeah.
But again, if you just go off of the quality of Vanderbilt last year and believe that's going to return this year to a lesser level, but still very good, going to lose that game too, right? And then you go right down the list all the way until you get to Arkansas, Mississippi State, and the cupcake, right, and the FCS game. So, it could be. Man, I'd hate to see 1-3 at the end of September. But on the downside, you're looking at a 2-10 team, I think.
Damn, Bartoo talking Auburn football, mixing in Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and some other teams, which is great. Total is 4.5. Okay, so for the Auburn Tigers. For our listeners, if you're just now joining us, Bartoo has come up with this drive sequence rate, and when Golish hit his drive sequence at South Florida, they were 18-0. When he didn't, they were 0-15. And they've got a nice schedule to start with Baylor and Southern Miss, but then, as Bartoo said, it gets serious. I want to go back because Auburn plays Baylor in Atlanta, Southern Miss at home, and then Florida at home. Are Summerall and John White, Brad White, excuse me.
Yeah.
Summerall and Brad White. So Summerall's the head coach at Florida, but a defensive specialist. Brad White was incredible at Kentucky and now is the DC at Florida. Are they the best defensive coaching duo in the league right now, Bartoo?
Oh, no, because where does Kirby Smart coach at? Is it still at Georgia?
Yep.
I don't care where that man goes. That's the best defensive mind in college football.
Okay.
Right. I mean, just I'll just be straight up with it. That is the best defensive mind in college football in the last 15 years. If you take the top 25 scoring efficiency defenses the last 15 years, Kirby was the head coach or in charge of the defense for 9 of the 25.
Wow. Okay.
He is a bad man when it comes down to defense. I do believe he is the most brilliant defensive coordinator maybe of this quarter century. But certainly, if you said the best, if it's Bo Bounds and Kirby Smart, I'm taking Bo Bounds and Kirby Smart. So, you got Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart, not to try to diminish John and Brad, because they're excellent in their own right.
Right.
But I really got to give props here to Kirby as just an absolute wicked defensive mind.
Okay, Kirby at 1, with Kwiatkowski getting let go at Texas, which was a bad decision by Sark, and Sark bringing in Muschamp. I know you like Baker and some other guys. taking out Kirby, would Summerall and Brad White be next or in the top 3 or 4?
Right there.
Venables,
Yeah,
I guess I know you love Smart, Venables, and Kwiatkowski.
Venables is wicked good too, and Kwiatkowski. I mean, Kirby, Venables, and Pete Kwiatkowski. I mean, there's 3 of your best to do it in the last 15 years total, retired or active. And so I'd still have Venables number 2 right there in the league. And then you start getting into the I'd probably put Brad and John together. I'm just trying to think of everybody else. Blake Baker's done a real good job flipping the defense at LSU right now. I think he's got to be in the discussion. Okay. Elko's a great mind. So I once you get past Kirby and Venables, it gets a little bit muddy there because those are those are national championship DCs, man. They're really good. Yeah. So I think that's your first tier, and then it's everybody else.
Okay. Bartu, we talked to Auburn. He's got them somewhere in the 5-7 to 7-5 range. I'd lean more towards 5 or 6. They did, as we talked about 40 minutes ago, they did retain Durkin, who's fantastic. And Durkin would be in the top half for you as it gets muddy because he did a damn good job the last few years, and he was at Ole Miss and A&M. Would Durkin be in out of the 16 teams? Would he be maybe on the backside, but in the top half of the league, Bartu?
Yeah, he's probably close to the top half of the league.
Okay.
And then Golis is offensive coordinator. He'd be in the bottom half because, I know he's coming off a great year. He had a top 10 scoring efficiency offense last year, but it took 3 years to get there. What he did at South Florida those first 2 years, he can't do that at Auburn. You and I both know that. You're not going 3-9 or whatever it was. It was bad, and average at South Florida. Those two bad years, you can't repeat that. He's got to get out of the gate good.
Okay. Wow. So he had one good year as an OC. He had one good year,
and as a head coach.
Well, that's true. I'm looking at it right here. Yeah.
Yeah, look at it. It's like, oh my goodness! Right now, let's give credit. Charlie Strong cratered that thing like nobody else. Right? I mean, he just absolutely nuked that program out of even Big 12. Yeah. And you know something? I hope Teddy Bridgewater is collecting 20% of all of Charlie Strong's money he ever makes, because once Teddy Bridgewater left Louisville, Charlie Strong couldn't win a football game to save his life.
Oh.
So, we will see what happens. But defensively, I expect Auburn to be defense first this year, and the offense trying to play catch up.
Okay.
They got Muschamped.
All right, so I've got Ole Miss should win that game at home, and I still give the edge to Auburn, even though they got to go to Starkville, just because Jeff's 7-18 and 1-15 overall. You expect them to be better with Kamario Taylor, Philip Montgomery, and Zach Arnett, but I don't know, exactly how that looks.
They got Muschamped.
Hey, can you walk us through the gap between? I know we're going to do a bigger deep dive maybe in a week or two or whatever, but with the Texas Longhorns regressing on offense the last couple of years under Steve Sarkisian, he let go of a top 3 defensive coordinator in Pete Kwiatkowski to hire Will Muschamp. Can you describe the gap between Kwiatkowski, who got fired at Texas, and Will Muschamp, who just got hired as the DC? Bartu?
Let's see here. How can I describe it? What kind of analogy would I be looking at? It's a massive gap, man. I mean, it is so large. But let's also be fair too. Maybe Pete wanted to go.
That's true.
I know Sark threw him under the bus as he was leaving. Right? Blame Pete for Sark having to do everything. Whatever. There's a lot of drama and play acting when it comes to the public persona of these guys, and I don't blame him. You got to protect yourself. But who knows why Kwiatkowski left? But ultimately, when you look at everything overall, the Muschamp, yeah, people say, well, he got a ring as a DC. Yeah, it was almost a lightning in a bottle, though. The defense wasn't always there. He hasn't called plays in forever. I'm trying to think of the drop off in talent that we're talking about here. Yeah, it's maybe Ole Miss wise, it's like going from Lane calling plays to John David Baker.
Yeah.
You know, do I get my $20 now for throwing Ole Miss under the bus on that one?
Yeah.
No, I think it's a huge gap. I think
Okay.
the offense will come back much better this year. Sark is a really good play caller. Manning has 12 games under his, he's got a regular season under his belt.
Sure.
I think the offense bounces back, but I think the defense regresses significantly in this league. And again, I've said it from day one, I don't think Steve Sarkisian is a national championship coach. It's national, Texas has national championship players. They have national championship money, boosters, fans. They got it all. They don't have the coach that has put a season together and has the ability to put the season together without getting super lucky. We saw Ed O do it. Second greatest thing after Kurt Cignetti I've ever seen in college football. Never be able to explain that one at LSU. So Steve could do it, but I'll bet against him as long as he's there.
Eddie O now on Lane Kiffin's staff.
Eddie O.
Love it. All right. Dave Bartu on the Out of Bounds show.
Hot garbage.
All right. Let's, John David Baker and Jeff Lebby. Neither one of them on your metrics would be considered a top 50 offensive coordinator. Is that right, Bartu?
Certainly not Jeff. But John David, he only has 2 years under his belt, so he's really not he's not graded per se right now. Now I will give John David in his 2 years, he had a strong impact at ECU in year one. Okay, very 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 good turnaround, but the regression was enormous in year two, to the point where in terms of offensive explosiveness, ECU was number 136 last year in offense out of 136. So the explosiveness wasn't there. My concern with John David is his pace of play, how fast he wants to snap the ball. We've never seen a fast, pass first, fast paced offense. I don't think we've ever seen one be really successful in the SEC, have we? Can you think of one?
I can't think of one, Bartu.
Right. I think this is where the size and athleticism comes into play in the SEC is you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to control the tempo of the game. And John David loves to go very, very, very fast, top 3 snap count rate in college football over the last 24 games of the regular season. So I think that's going to be I'm going to be interested to see how fast they come out in September, because Pete Golding is not used to that either. Right? He's not used to 80, 90 plays a game on his defense, and everybody knows in the NIL world, depth is hurt. Everybody is hurting it's a level playing field. Everybody's depth is shot relative to what it used to be before. And if you've got no depth, you can't play 90 snaps a game. You can't. It's going to get you in the fourth quarter every time. So that is going to be an interesting prospect there. With Jeff's got a lot of ability. He put up a top 5 offense 1 year at Oklahoma, and the offense progressed significantly last year. But when you look at the overall talent that he's had relative to the schedule, his grade is a little bit lower than John David Baker right now. But certainly his ceiling, he's proven that he can put up a big number at Oklahoma. I think that's what all state fans are waiting for, is that offense to come back around at Mississippi State.
Were fans fooled thinking that Lane Kiffin went blazing fast on offense?
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He didn't. See what happens is the really good offensive coordinators have a fastball, a changeup, and a curveball.
Right.
Okay. And I noticed this the first time with Chip Kelly. He would go fast, and the defense would go fast to try to keep up, and then suddenly he'd throw a changeup. and the whole thing would stop, and it would slow down, and then it would speed up, and then it would slow down. And it was interesting watching the defense not know, can I run on the field right now? Because once you do that a couple times, it creates this uncertainty, and nothing an offensive coordinator loves more than uncertainty on the defense. And so Lane could speed it up, but he could slow it down just as well. And that's one of the beautiful things, I think, of an offensive coordinator is the ability to not have to be regulated by the head coach to speed it up and slow it down. And that's what we're looking at right now for John David Baker. Does he have the ability to slow it down? Especially game situation. Take the air out of the ball. Take some time off the clock. If you don't have the ability to do that, you're losing tools that you need to win close football games in the SEC.
Okay. Diamond Dave Bartoo, Matrix Analytical on the Out of Bounds show. I love that about the way you framed that up about Kiffin and Chip Kelly. It's not smoke and mirrors, but they had a fastball, a changeup, and a slider. And most OCs don't, because not everybody can be top 10 or top 20. And I think people thought Lane went really fast because every now and then they'd have an explosive play and they would run down the field and snap it fast, but he didn't do that over 3.5 hours. That's where you're going, right, Bartoo?
Yeah, exactly. Or he'd run down the field and then not snap it, and the defense would run down there and be ready to go, and then they'd relax, and then he'd hit them.
Right.
Oh, dude, I love the nuance of pace of play with experienced offensive coordinators. And so, but a good example, though, we saw at Oklahoma when Venables was trying to run high pace of play without slowing down. Okay, there's a danger to it, and you got to have the horses to do it. And I think it's much more difficult today. So, but no, Lane did what he wanted to do, and the pace was extremely varied. But it was never, 60 minutes of hell with his offense.
Okay. We'll leave it. That was great. We'll leave it there. We were able to do a deep dive with Auburn, who Ole Miss will host, and Mississippi State, which is cool. And then we were able to hit some John Summerall and Brad White at Florida, which both teams play. And I love when he starts ranking and rating, Kirby and Venables and Baker and all these guys. And Lane did not go mega Ferrari fast. Every now and then he would, and we'd get all, hot and bothered on a Saturday. But he also knew how to bleed the clock. And Lane loves to run the football, which Bartoo just hit on about this league. You better be able to it's still about running the football and stopping the run. All right, Diamond Dave, I hope you have a great week. Enjoy that weather. And hopefully we'll drink a Tito's and soda soon at Pearl River Resort. See you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bud.
Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the Mississippi State University College of Business. Their students are competing coast to coast and winning in competitions. Dean Scott Grawl has done an unbelievable job. He played Power 4 baseball at Iowa State. He's taken that competitive temperament and drive, along with being in the private sector for over 10 years. And he is taking the MSU College of Business to another level. Visit their site today, business.msstate.edu. Dean Scott Grawl, the momentum they have is unbelievable in the College of Business at Mississippi State University. We'll see you tomorrow.